In this video, we're going to push our example of a Python Flask WTForms example. We're going to push that just a little bit farther. And what we had, let's run it and show what we've got. I've done the various little set up the various things beforehand, so all I need to do is type Flask run in the terminal and then bring it up. And here's the main difference this time, that the choices in the color, let's look at the view page source behind, and down here are the color choices, and here is the option red. The open option tag, the value is red slash, and then the # FF000000. And then what the user sees between the open option and the close option is red. So previously, the value was just the hex code, but I'd like to have available to on the handler to display. I'd like to be able to display both the name. I'd like to pass, effectively, I'd like to pass two pieces of information. I'd like to pass the name of the color and the hex code for the color. But I'm going to pass one large string with a delimiter of a vertical bar in between, and then I'm going to have to, once I get that answer from the user, then split it up into the two pieces and use it. And then what we're going to show here is there's sort of two opportunities to do that work, just the same way when we calculate the salary in this example, we have them enter a wage and a number of hours and a wage, and we calculate a salary. There are two opportunities to do that calculation, one of the Python, one of the Jinja. That will be the same here for this splitting we would like to do. We can do that split in the Python or in the Jinja. We will do both so that you can sort of pick your favorite. So that's what we're doing here. So most of it's the same as before. It's just this splitting that's different. So the first thing we're showing here is the route. And now what changes in the route? Well, the route is where you pass the information from the form to the handler. And this is one of the locations where we can do the splitting. So here is us getting the color. So the form sent us valid information. It was valid on submit, and we got the result. And now here we're getting the color part of the result. So result is a dictionary, and then there is a key value pair. Color gives us that red vertical bar and the hex code for red. And so we're taking the result, which is a string, and we're splitting it on a vertical bar. And so then user underscore color will have multiple parts. And then I'm going to, when I do render template, I'm going to send it user underscore color 0 and user underscore color 1. I'm going to send it the two parts, one of the name color name and the other one color hex. So that is, so in addition to this Python handling the routes, it can handle some of this work. If you want to do the splitting in Python, this is the place where you know what the user chose. And so then once you know what the user chose, if you're more comfortable coding in Python and you want to do your work here, your splitting here, this is a possible place to do the splitting. And then when you get that information, send it here in the render template. Sort of give it a name and send the value, a name and a value. Okay. Now here's the WTF side, and what's new here is just these tuples. Remember, select field gives us a drop-down select over on the HTML side. Here's our label. Here are the choices. The choices are a list of tuples. And the first item is the value, what's sort of behind the scenes. And then the second value in the tuple is what's between open option and close option, what the user sees. And so this was just not really work, but just additional typing of us preparing on the WTF side that we wanted this more complicated behind the scenes string to be passed. So a name, some delimiter, in this case, a vertical bar, and then the hex code with the pound sign or hashtag sort of as part of the hex code. So that's what's new in WTF. We saw what was new in the Flask in terms of that splitting work could be done here. The HTML, here's the color in HTML, and there's no change here. It's just all the real work's over in the WTF part. And here we're just saying we're going to have the label for a color and the color, whatever we decided it was over in WTF will happen here. So there's no change for this here on the form. And then on the form handler, again, this is a place where we can do the work of splitting. And so first I show, here's the work in Jinja, so I've got to come back to this. But here is me just displaying the results of my work in Python. So I sent it over. Where was it? Farther over, it was the app. I sent it over as name, name, and color hex. So here in the handler, I just say curly, curly, color name, curly, curly, color hex, and I get the name and the hex code, and I've split them so they're already separated. If I want to do the work in Jinja, here's me doing the work in Jinja, curly %. So that means that curly, curly, and curly %, I'm working in Jinja. If I'm doing something more, if I'm just spitting out data, it's curly, curly. But if I'm doing something a little bit of like, if I have an if or a loop, or in this case, split, if I'm doing any kind of work, doing any kind of control, just more than spitting out the data, then it's usually curly %. And so I am taking results, square bracket color. That's what I got from the form. And that has the more complicated value. So this still has the vertical bar. And then I'm doing dot split on the vertical bar. So that is breaking it up into 2 pieces. And here I am naming those 2 pieces. The first one to be col name. But I sent over, when I did the Python work, I called it color name and color hex. But this I'm just calling col name and col hex. So these are different from what I got in Python. And I'm just getting them from splitting the result over here in Jinja. And then once I have done that work of splitting, then I can just refer to it as col_name and col_hex. So that's what I wanted to show you. I wanted to have sort of, I don't know, 2 for the price of 1. I wanted the name of the color and the hex code of the color both passed, both available for display in my ultimate handler. So I had to put them there in originally. So I had to put 2 pieces of information in the first part of the tuple among the choices. That was one change. I could do the work in Python. I could do the work in Jinja in the handler. So 2 possibilities to do the work. You only have to do that work once. I'm just showing you the 2 possibilities for doing it, so you have your choice. And that's what I wanted to show you with this one. So thanks for your attention.